I am sure you are all excited and somehow, maybe not a surprise, since we're talking about business here. So it's not a surprise that, one good person is with us today and someone credible. But then let me begin with this one. So our first speaker is one of the most respected business speakers and authors in the Philippines, recognized with the Outstanding Filipino Award in 2014. He is committed in enriching people's lives with motivation, leadership, and excellence. He is the recipient of Anvil Award for Excellence for staging the Dr. John Maxwell Seminar Series, as well as the Gold Quill Award for the Best Public Speech category presented by the International Association Business Communicators. Currently, he is the president and of the publishing company Success Options, which I always, work with. The director of Inspire Leadership Consultancy Incorporated and the brand ambassador of USANA Philippines. The brand ambassador who would always ask me, when can I renew my contract? Okay, that's how much he loves USANA. I don't need to market it to him. He's the one reaching out to me. So please welcome the one and only Mr. Francisco.
I'll do it here. They won't understand. Okay. Oh, thank you. Thank you for that wonderful introduction, Leo. Can I bring you with me to all my engagement? Thank you very much. I'd just like to first express my appreciation for USANA for having me as their oldest, longest tenured ambassador, because that's what the business is all about, right? If you get older, then you give more credibility to the product. Let me just brief you with a little bit of my first experience with USANA. That was in 2011 when we had our first, they invited me to do a leadership training for 60 of their leaders. And today you have thousands of leaders. And all throughout the journey, I've seen a lot of changes in the business landscape. One good example is that this business now, USANA in particular, has now been regarded as a very professional, legit company at the time when that industry was in question. And one thing I've noticed also with the new entrants joining USANA is that they're now composed of professionals. And these are, if we go back in the past, usually it's a young, fresh graduate people in between jobs joining the companies. But now what makes me happy is that I see a lot of professionals joining in and discovering the benefits, not only for the product, but also for the opportunity of doing business. The business landscape has changed tremendously. I remember, I'm an entrepreneur myself, by the way, and I remember there was a time when you had to go to the office in order to do business because that's where your materials are. Today you can do your office work anywhere you go because you bring your office with you. There was a time when doing business means you give up your day job and you're just going to concentrate on doing entrepreneurship and everything. Today, what I've noticed over my journey over the years is that the fact that USANA offers an opportunity for people who don't have to give up their day job, and then they sort of discover what they can do and tap into the potential until such time they reach a stage of knowing, hey, this becomes a business. And that's the time when they go all in. This is also one business that I've seen wherein families can get involved. I've seen that perhaps our records can show us that some of our awardees happen to be husband and wife team working together. And it is a very good model for business. One important aspect of all this is that I'd like to share with you something that I post regularly, and every time I give seminars, I will say this. Today, health is the new wealth, peace is the new rich, and kindness is the new cool. So, one thing I can say about USANA is that it encapsulates all of those important things. The Black Swan event, which we call the pandemic, has convinced people that you gotta pay premium for your health situation. And for somebody who's on the road all the time, as a matter of fact, right after this, I rushed to another 4-hour training. And I've been doing training, by the way. Pre-pandemic, I was doing training at the frequency of 300 talks and trainings and seminars every single year for the past 12 years of my life. And I can attribute that to being sustained and maintained by the supplements that I get that gives me the energy, the concentration, and everything else. And so health now is primary, and it has educated the Filipino about how important it is. Second is, of course, financial security. So these people now are beginning to tap into the potential of entrepreneurial approaches to what they can do by not giving up their day job until they get to the vantage point where they discover, I can go this full time. And then they do. And then it happens to be a very nice avenue for them to exercise their entrepreneurial abilities. Number 3, this is extremely important. I do training all my life. I operate in the HR community. I begin to see the development not only of their skills, it's not just selling. It's a holistic approach to the people with their provision of non-stop training, wherein their characters are developed, their attitude now is being honed, and constantly being challenged to become excellent. So it's very rare that you can find an industry that provides such trainings that can be expensive, and I would know that because I am. And then being given the opportunity to hone and shape and train the young people in terms of a holistic approach. Second is we talk about wellness. There's a lot of my clients right now who has made it a permanent fixture in their companies to present a particular department that takes care of the mental health situation of their people, because life is not getting any easier. And people who do not have the ability to understand how to manage their stress, and most of the young people don't, they are susceptible to be having that situation problematic for them. That's why it offers no wonder for me that USANA lately came out with also a line of, Kevin, please correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of products that would address that area and can help mitigate that situation too. And finally, I would like to say that over the years, what I see now is not only does it offer opportunities for people to go into entrepreneurial pursuit, not only does it provide financial security, because one thing that touches my heart about USANA is this. This is a company that complies with government requirements. It's a legit company, or else they wouldn't be existing this long. I've been invited by other companies before. They're non-existent now because they were not compliant. And number 3, this is a company that I see that has trained and developed their people into becoming professional business people without the fancy approaches of the same industrial practice of the past. So they're now very professional, and you can meet them, you would kind of understand what I'm saying. So changes happens every day. Everything now continues to be reshaped, and the industry keeps on taking new forms. But this is one thing that achieves all 3 that I mentioned: health aspect, the peace aspect, and the kindness aspect. And for me, that's the reason why, thank you for making me your brand ambassador. And by the way, I've been giving a lot of invitations to be their brand ambassador. I don't represent any company that I myself do not use. And similarly, let me close with this. As a father, now a grandfather of 3 I'm a father of 3 successful entrepreneurs. All of my kids are now entrepreneurs. One, a very famous fashion designer. My daughter, my son is in the food business now. During the pandemic, he developed a very successful food product. And my youngest now is also an entrepreneur. She's handling the most difficult and challenging product of them all, her father. And as a father, this happened only about 5 months ago. And I said, You want to leave money and your properties with your children as an inheritance. Well, that's good. But I realize one of the best things I can do is to leave them with the consciousness that they better take good care of their health. So I bought them sets. I bought them sets of USANA, and I say, you take this every day. That's a command. That's not a suggestion. And somehow I felt like I've covered what? If the property aspect there is covered, the health aspect is covered, the ability to manage their finances is covered, the ability to be responsible and to be a positive contributor to the Philippine society, that's covered as well. That's it. I can retire anytime. But my daughter refused to make me do that. She's still single, by the way. And I asked her, why don't you make your dad, why don't you get married so your dad can retire? And she looked at me and she said, Dad, that's exactly the reason why I don't want to get married. I said, why? You're gonna retire. But currently, I'm earning a lot off from you. Thank you very much for